Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and for maybe the first time in the channel's history, I come to you from a public park. Yes, I've never done this before, not in Glasgow, let alone Warsaw, but we are here, we're in Warsaw, following the game last night. Shakhtar won, Celtic won. We're going to talk about it all. It's a bit of a delayed match reaction. I'm sure you can understand. I was there, I was at the game. Bit of a disaster getting home from the game. Celtic fans, and you'll know if you were there, were kind of trapped in towards the end. We weren't home till proper late, so there was no chance I was going to get a match review up last night, so you've had to wait till tonight to have it, and we're just going to recap what was the game yesterday, the result for Celtic, and what was, let's bring back an old Lenny phrase here, a game that I looked at as bitterly disappointing. Now, before we go any further with the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated. I'm kind of about Warsaw myself for the next few hours. Kieran Auld, Callum, and the rest of the guys, they're heading home. They're flying back to Krakow, and then they're going back to Glasgow. Of course, I head back to Mallorca tomorrow. So I'm just cutting about myself. Quite nice, quite peaceful, taking in the beautiful old town of Warsaw. It's been a great away trip, as always. Celtic fans, fantastic. The atmosphere in the stadium last night was brilliant in the away end. And I'm looking forward to Leipzig next month. But going to Leipzig next month, we need to learn our lesson, and we need to take a few. We had to take a tough one last night because, and I don't want to be too negative, because at the end of the day, we went away from home in Europe. We've dominated the game. We've been better than the opposition, and we've walked away with a point, which on paper, doesn't sound too bad. But when you dominate the game and when you are the better side, you should be winning. And for me, the feeling walking out the stadium last night was more negative than positive, which is something that I've not said a lot since Ange Postecoglou has become Celtic manager, walking away from a game with negatives and being sort of negative. We really should have won the game last night, and I have a really bad feeling we're going to kick ourselves when it gets to the end of this group stage and we didn't win last night. We need to learn to take our chances. We need to learn to be more clinical, more ruthless in the attacking phases of the game, because ultimately it cost us 3 points last night, and that's the truth. For as well as we played over portions of the game, and for as dominant as we were, it really kind of stings that we only walked away with the point. I just thought that we were too passive in a lot of different sections in the game last night, and in areas where we were passive, we could have been more aggressive, certainly defensively, and we'll come on to that. I think if we were just a little bit more ruthless in our style and what we do on a weekly basis, we would have walked out the stadium with 3 points last night. Ange Postecoglou would have had a massive away European win, a first Champions League away win since Anderlecht in 2017, and we would have been partying. And a point isn't anything to be too discouraged about. We still sit third in the group right now. Leipzig are still on 0. There is positives to take from it, but we could have been 3 clear of Leipzig heading into the next game. And it could put us in a really positive position. And it just kind of stings overall. I don't know, it's really, really weird. And I don't know if you feel the same. I don't know if you have a more positive outlook on last night's game. But I'm really frustrated. Frustrated is the word. Because we could have had so much more. Let's start from the beginning of the game then, as always. And sorry if I feel like I'm dead far away from the camera, but the tripod that I've brought with me, the only one that I can fit in my hand luggage, is a very small tripod. So I feel like the ratio of height in this video will look really weird and stuff, so apologies, but there's not much I can do about that. Let's talk about the first half. I was really happy with the team selection. Sead Haksabanovic in from the start, his first start as a Celtic player. We'll talk about him a bit more as the video goes on, but we started the game so well, didn't we? Right from the first ball was kicked, we just, as I said in the preview, people always question, is Ange going to change his style? We're heading away from home, we'll have to be more pragmatic, etc, etc. No, we don't. We play like that, you win games, and that's the annoying thing, because I feel like we started the game with that same approach that we've always got domestically, and we always do so well. We started with that, and as the game went on, we kind of lost our way a little bit. And that was seen in the first half, because by the time the half-time whistle was ready to be blown, I was dying for it to go, because Shakhtar were starting to get a bit more hold in the game. But opening 10 minutes, we were absolutely fantastic. Shakhtar couldn't breathe. And we were right over them. Their goalkeeper looked as though he had a few mistakes in him. The defenders weren't comfortable passing it out, and that was all down to what Celtic were doing. We weren't giving them a minute to think. We were really on their backs from the first whistle was blown. And it's exactly what you want to see, and ultimately we get our first goal in the game. I think it went down as an own goal. Place erupted in that away end. And at that moment in time, I'm thinking to myself, right, okay, this is a game we can score 2 or 3. This is a game where I think that we can put a marker down. And this is a side that won 4-1 last week against Leipzig. One thing that I think we need to take from the first half is the positive in it is we are at a level we can compete. We definitely are. There's just things we need to iron out to make us stand out in that level, to take us that little bit further against teams at this level, because that's the difference at the moment. But overall, with the way we played and the way we competed throughout the game, I think that you're now seeing with Ange Postecoglou's Celtic, we're a side who deserves to be in the Champions League. It should be in the Champions League. I seen a few tweets last night after the game saying this is why we're not cut out for this level. We absolutely are. We definitely are cut out for this level. And we showed that over the 90 minutes in the performance. There's a lot of positives to take in that. It's just the negatives are things that can be fixed, and they will be fixed, I think. Sometimes you talk about luck being on your side. We never have that in Europe, and I think there was a little bit of that last night too. But in terms of how we performed in the game, we definitely are ready to compete at this level. They won 4-1 last week against Leipzig, one of the top teams in Germany, the winners of the Pokal. Yet last night, we played against them, we dominated against them, and we made it look as though it was a kind of routine Premiership game at times. The problems came in the final third. As I said, I think we lost our way a little bit as the half went on, and obviously they got a goal back. And the way the goal comes back is so annoying, because this is one of my major problems from last night's game, and this is the thing that annoyed me the most. I didn't think that we were... I don't want to use the word rough, because you'll want to be rough. There's no point in flying into players for no reason, obviously. That's not how Celtic play. We've never played like that, not even under just Ange, any manager. We've never been a side who commits silly fouls. We've never been a side who are rash. We're quite a clean side when it comes to that. But we were giving them so much respect on the ball, I thought, as the first half went on. And a lot of it in the second half as well. We were standing off a lot. We were giving them time and space to think. And especially in the second half, when they were chasing the win a little bit more, I thought that we were just scared to commit any sort of foul. There was times where you're like, okay, put a hand out, pull them down, do something to stop the phase of play. And in the first half, I feel like that's how they got more and more comfortable, and that's why I wanted the half-time whistle to come. They got their goal. We showed them a lot of respect and given them it. They ended up scoring another goal, which of course was chopped off. And I started to worry a little bit, because I thought we just looked a little bit nervy. Don't get me wrong, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Moritz Jens, they had some fantastic moments in the game. Great tackles. I remember Jens putting one in the second half, very shortly after making a mistake. And I remember Vickers in the first half making a couple of great slide tackles. But I thought that Taylor and Juranovic, especially last night, they looked so scared to make any sort of contact with the players or get too close with the players. And I know that is a precaution in Europe, because players can go down so easily and then suddenly you've lost yourself a penalty or whatever. But we just stood off them so much, and I'm thinking, get close to them, make them think, maybe give away a foul in a decent enough area. And I think that was giving them time and space to get comfortable in the game, and that was annoying me a little bit. And I don't know if you agree with that. You might not. Maybe if you're watching at home, it was a different perspective as well. But from my seat where I was sitting, I was thinking, right, you're letting them think and do too much here. And they grew comfortable in the first half, and we started to lose our way a little bit, I thought. The second half is a half of football that I want to forget so quickly. There was vibes of Borussia Mönchengladbach in 2016. I heard a few people actually saying that last night as we left the stadium. The same vibes when, McGregor missed that opportunity all those years ago, and you thought to yourself, we should have won that game. And that was the story of the second half. And I feel like Celtic lost a lot of what we're good at in the second half. Jota, he was given man of the match. I don't know how. His problem last night was he just carried the ball a little bit too much, didn't he? And I mean, he was trying his best, and I think the problem wasn't just with Jota in those situations, because I don't think that the players were giving him the movement and the options that they normally do. I don't think they were doing what they do on a weekly basis by moving into those areas, opening up the game a little bit, making defenders move back and forth. I think Jota was struggling to find that, but in amongst that, Jota should be probably moving it a little bit more. So we lost, a lot of the flow of our game because of that. The midfield became a little bit messy. A lot of people criticising O'Reilly, for example, last night, Hatate as well, and rightfully so, because I think in the second half they became a little lost, and Moy came on, didn't really do much either. So I think that we lost just a lot of our normal flow in the game because of that, because we just weren't doing what we normally do. Turnbull came on and he done nothing, didn't he? He done absolutely nothing. So it was a really tough second half, because when we did do the things right in the very big glimpses of opportunities, very big glimpses of opportunities. We didn't take them. And it's going to come back to bite us, I'm scared. I'm scared that I feel like I'm standing too far forward. I feel like I've been out of frame this whole video. But when it comes to the end of this group, is Maeda's chance, is Giakoumakis' chance going to be chances where we go, that's cost us. It's cost us the last 16. It's cost us the Europa League. I'm really, really scared of that. Maeda taking a hefty amount of criticism last night after missing that, and the technical ability conversation is starting to come back in. The thing is, and I hate watching back the highlights, I watched them back this morning, you have got to be brutally honest in saying he has to do better. There's not really many excuses to give him. Giakoumakis is fair enough, it was a bit more of a difficult chance, but you've got to score these goals, and that's when I say we're good enough to compete at this level. We certainly are. We deserve to be in the Champions League. We are good enough to be in the Champions League. The big difference now is those are the chances that other teams score. Those are the chances that even Rangers score, because we know how Rangers, I mean, not recently, but in previous years, Rangers have got goals in Europe from taking opportunities that come maybe out of nowhere. Celtic can't seem to take them at the moment. And it was the same against Real Madrid. Maeda with the big chance right at the start of the second half. Those over the course of games are going to come back to bite us. And it was really, really frustrating last night, and that's why leaving the stadium and leaving to get the bus back, I was more in a negative kind of feeling than I was positive, because I should be buzzing leaving a European city with a positive result, a draw. It's good, we've got a point, we've not lost the game, we've showed significant improvement. I think we're dominating. I mean, this is one thing I say, that's the first time in years that I can remember Celtic going away from home in a group stage game and dominating a game like that. A Champions League group stage game anyway. We've never dominated a game like that in front of my eyes. I can't think of many examples. I don't know if you can, but I can't think of many. Yet I still left with a negative feeling, because those chances change the result for you. Those chances change the outcome of the group for you. And if we can't get them in the back of the net, then what hope have you got? And it's going to continue to cost us if we don't sort it out. People might say that if it's not Maeda in that position, it's someone else scoring it, but you can't change that, I'm afraid. And Maeda needs to be able to bury these chances. It's just really, really annoying. Yeah, I think, over the course of the game, there is a lot of positives to take. The fact that we can control a European game now, we can go out and implement a style that genuinely possesses fear for opposition. You've seen how stressed Shakhtar were in points in that game. We need to just keep going with it, but we need to take our chances. That's the big thing. I think there was just so much frustration in the fact we just couldn't get those goals. In terms of star performers last night, I don't think there was anybody who, kind of stood out as I thought Haksabanovic looked good for the first half. I wish we kind of kept him on, not just because I'm biased and he's my favourite player and I want him to flourish, but I think I wish we did keep him on. Abada, I feel like, would have maybe been a smarter option earlier, maybe instead of Maeda. I can see why, obviously, Maeda's trusted more in that time of the game and what he brings, but I don't think he got to implement it really. What he does bring, that fast pace and that press, we didn't really possess the same amount of it in the second half as we did in the first, I thought. But the midfield was kind of quiet as the game just went on. We started so well and we just couldn't keep that tempo up throughout the entire 90 minutes. It kind of came in flashes, you know what I mean? It was flashes of brilliance. But I thought we'd done well at dealing with pressure, because Shakhtar did get themselves into the game. I thought the defence did look good. People questioned Joe Hart's positioning and the way he tried to save their goal. Listen, it was a strike that kind of fooled him. It went the other way from what I think he expected, and these things happen. But we need to learn a lesson. That's the main thing. I think if we're talking about 3 things we've learned, is one thing we've learned is we just need to take our chances. That is the overwhelming narrative from this game. We need to take our chances. I wonder if a game at the weekend would have helped, If we went against Livingston and scored, 5 or 6, could we have got more? Would the instinct have been there a little bit? I'm not going to put it down to that. That's a cheap excuse, but we've got a chance now to go out at the weekend, get a decent result heading into what this break is, and then we come back from the break and get right back to it. I think the break actually comes at a decent time for us. And that might sound stupid because how good we've actually been, but I think it gives us time to kind of sit back, admire what we've done, and head into that next Champions League game against Leipzig with all the encouragement and all the motivation to go out and right the wrongs from last night. I'm really confident for that game. I really am. And people might not be, because, if we can't score and blah, blah, blah. I think we can do it. I'm looking forward to the trip again, because I really think that we're in a position right now. And look, for as negative as I may have been about last night's game, the positive is we know we can challenge, we know we can win, we just need to convert. That's the big difference. So we'll wait and see. Anyway, that's going to do it for me in this park. It's getting kind of cold. I need to get some food. It's kind of nice. This is, if you were here, you'd recognise this park. This is where the buses took us to the game. I thought it'd be a good wee spot to do the video. I wasn't heading out to the stadium. I couldn't be bothered with that. It's too far away. Right, well, I'm going to get some food. I'm going to edit. I'm going to try and get this up as soon as possible. If you've enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. As I've said in the videos in Spain so far, apologies if they seem a little more rushed or the editing isn't as great. There's not much I can do about that, but your support has been absolutely fantastic while I've been away. A massive shout out to everybody that I've met over here who watches the channel. I've been asked for some amount of shout outs, but if I was to give them all out, I'd be reading a 25-man match squad for the Champions League myself. So if you know that you spoke to me and you asked for a shout out, trust me, I remember you, fantastic, loved meeting you guys. Yeah, bring on Leipzig, I'll see a lot of you there as well. So yeah, that'll do it. Like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.